Good afternoon, everybody! Welcome to new student orientation for Central Texas College. For those of you that have been with me for the last few minutes, yes, now you know why I have been caffeinating. Because we have to have the energy to make it through the night. It has been rough. The day is almost at the end. I'm sure most of you are tired, but guess what? You had to spend some time with me this evening and we have to have some fun. So we're going to talk about some fun things, some not so fun things. It's okay. We're going to make it through it, okay? Just bear with us. I promise you that we are here to help, regardless of what's going. So welcome, officially welcome, Eagles. My name is Mariceli Santiago. I am the Director of Student Life and Activities, and it is my job to take you through this journey today. Like I said, some things are more fun than others of what we're going to discuss today, but regardless, it's going to be great because it's going to help you get ready so that you are successful by the end of this night. You're going to learn the core basic things that you need to be successful. And yes, even though I am part of the student life and activities, I am also under the umbrella of student success and persistence, which means that all that we're going to talk about today is about making you successful. How can you be the best student that you can be? So, everybody ready to soar with me, Eagles? Yes, come on. Those of you that you got your video cameras on, yes, I want to see you. There we go. See how? Come on. Even those of you that don't want to, come on, crack a little smile or something. Yes, I'm seeing the hand, I'm seeing the thumbs up and the emojis and the clapping. That's what we need, okay? So, I am not the only one that is actually trying to get you to be excited about today. I have actually invited a few individuals to go on this journey with me. And the first one that is here to welcome you is actually one of our deputy chancellors, Dr. Robin Garrett. Yes, she's my boss's boss. So come on, everybody. We got to clap big for her. Come on. Show it a big yes.
Thank you. I don't deserve it, but thank you so much. Thanks, Mariceli. As she said, I'm here to welcome you. This is an amazing evening. I just beeping. All these students keep coming in. I'm so excited that you're here to learn. And on behalf of the entire executive team, which is our chancellor and the other two deputy chancellors that work, we all work alongside each other every day to think of ways to help you be more successful. We welcome you to CTC. And you have the most amazing faculty and staff at your disposal here at Central Texas College. So please take advantage of them. Faculty aren't scary. They're your friends sometimes, but no, they want you to be successful. And the staff here, they're available all the time. As you see, it's evening. It's 5:30 at night. And where are we? We're here to help you. And we want you to reach your goals. So thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it back over to our wonderful host, Mariceli. She is amazing. She will take you on, as she said, this journey, but you will need more help later. You won't remember everything that she gives you tonight and we give you, but that's why we're here. We're here to get you going. We're here to get you through and to meet your goals. So thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you, Dr. Garrett. Thank you, as always, for being such a great support for all the staff, faculty, and especially the students. So thank you very much. Now, I am going to turn it over. Wait, somebody's talking, and it's not me. Thank you. Okay, make sure everybody needs to be muted. All right. So now the next person that is going to be here to help guide you through everything as well and say hi to you. And we love her. And I need you to give another big round of applause to because she is my boss. Yes, she is. Dean Julie Stuckey. Yes. Dean of Student Success and Persistence.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here with us on a Tuesday night, 5:30. We're very excited to have you here and that you've made the commitment to get this information. I am going to tell you, attending new student orientation is your first step towards success. By coming to this event, participating, getting to know your peers, getting to know the faculty and staff, that's your first step. I do want you to ask your questions tonight. I think you're going to hear that from a lot of us. We can't help you if we don't know what is going on. We do have a whole, Maricelli has an amazing evening plan where we're going to give you lots of information. And she's going to pop that up here in a minute so you can see what we're going to be asking. And at the very end, we have some time set aside where we'll just do Q&As. We'll go back and revisit issues and things like that. So don't hesitate to do that. My job, though, is really, I want you to be successful, and I wouldn't do my job if I didn't give you a few helpful hints about what that success should look like. And you're going to look at these and say, gosh, those are so obvious. But as we go through the semester, sometimes people forget about these things. And so I want to communicate my tips for success. They are what I'm going to share with you, but I assure you most of the faculty and staff on this presentation would probably agree. Number one, I need you to go to class every single day. If you are in an in-person class and it is the class that you are scheduled to go to, you need to go to that class. If you're in an online class, you need to log in way more than once a week. You need to participate. You need to get to know your faculty. So you've got to go to class. And when I say it's not just a physical thing, it means log in, it means participate, it means read that syllabus, everything that you have to do for that class. You have to make this commitment and you have to do something a lot every single week, okay? Number two, I want you to turn in everything. I don't want you just to take the tests, or if your faculty member gives you an extra credit, and they don't a lot of times necessarily going to give you extra credit, but if they do, boy, do you need to take advantage of that. But you need to look at it and you need to plan to turn in everything. Don't fail to turn something in. I always give the example, if you had 4 assignments, each worth 25%, and you fail to turn in one of those assignments, what's the best you can do in the class? Basic math. 75%. That's the best you can do because you failed to turn in that one assignment. That's how critical this is. I need you to turn in everything. You don't know what life is going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. And so you need to turn it all in so that you're not at the end begging and pleading and saying, hey, can I have extra credit? Can I do this? Because that's, as you're going to hear from the faculty, that's not always the way they operate. So turn in everything. I want you to talk to your instructors. I want you to get to know them. They are your best resource. You're going to hear a lot about resources, a lot about things that we offer for you to help you get through, but your number one resource is the faculty who's instructing your class. The people that you're going to meet here tonight, you've got to get to know them. You've got to ask the questions. You've got to read their syllabus. You've got to email them. You've got to talk to them when you have a question. It's nice that you might call my office. It's nice that you might talk to a tutor or an academic advisor about things. But if it's about that specific class and what they need you to do, and about your path and the area that they are the experts in, you've got to talk to them. Okay, so I need you to understand the importance of getting to know your faculty. I want you to use all the resources, and you're going to learn about them today. Again, I've already talked about the faculty, but I want you to using the library. And I want you to go to the library's website, and I want you to use it and investigate it. If you're on campus, I want you to go to the library. I want you to take advantage of tutoring. I want you to take advantage of if you need accommodations. I want you to reach out to disability support services and career services for help. You've got to use these resources for you to be successful, and you've got to do that day one. I don't want you waiting. I want you tomorrow. I want you reaching out for a resource. I want you on our website looking at what we have to offer and learning what all of those are, because you've got to utilize those, okay? And the last thing is I just want you to commit to this experience. It's a wonderful experience. Your brain is going to explode. You're going to learn so much. Some things you're going to like, some things you're not going to like, but I want you to commit to this experience, and I want you to work hard every day. And if you'll do that, I promise you, you're going to see success. And I want you to know we are always here to help you. I want you to reach out to my office, call the studio. We're going to put emails and phone numbers for you in the link that you can call if you're lost. Eagles on Call is another good one if you just have a random question. Student Life in Maricelli's area, and we're going to list all of these for you. please screenshot them, take a picture, because this is who you reach out to for help. Guys, have a great evening, and we're all going to be here, and we're all here to answer your questions. But I wish you a very successful fall semester.
Yay! Thank you, Dean Starkey. So now, really quickly, I'm just going to show everybody the agenda. This is what we're going to go through today. Lots of stuff to go over, and we're kind of we need to get rolling on this. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be Eagle Mail, and I have somebody special that's going to be actually talking to you about it. But first, I'm going to share this video with you. And then that special someone is actually going to tell you a little bit more about it. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Now, to talk about Eagle Mail and everything that has to do, please welcome our newly appointed Associate Dean of Instruction, previously our math instructor, Professor Matthew Lyles. Yay! And he's going to tell you a little bit more about the importance of email.
Hey folks, thanks for coming this evening. Want to talk about email briefly. So Eagle Mail, you will be assigned an Eagle Mail address here very soon. As new students at CTC, it is important that you check it regularly. If you're not going to make it your primary email address, you can go in and configure it to forward to your existing email address that you use. But think of it like you get a new job and your job assigns you an email address. You know, for that job, they're going to communicate important information to you through your email address, and you need to check it. As a student, it's the same exact kind of thing. We're giving you this email address, and we're going to communicate with you in all kinds of different ways. Pearl's going to talk to us in a little bit about financial aid. If there's some kind of information that you need to know about financial aid, that could come via your email. If you have some kind of a registration issue, they might email you. If you have something from all kinds of different departments, they could email you. You're taking a class and the due date has changed. Class has been canceled because some kind of a thing. All kind of wild things. You know, we've not too long ago had some really wild shake 'em up kind of changes with pandemics where we really had to change the way we delivered the class. How did we get the information to you so that you know how to get to class in an online setting or whatever? Email. Anything that happens, reminders about due dates sometimes, announcements for the course, all kind of things happen via email. They can also happen, some of those things can happen in Blackboard as well, and Dr. Reese will address that here in just a couple of minutes. But interaction that happens, that it affects you in every way from CTC is going to happen via email. Also, when you communicate with your instructors, and you do need to do that, it is better to use a CTC email address. I had a story that I tell from when I first started teaching for CTC. You'll know immediately that I'm not a gamer. The people that are not gamers, roll with me for a second. I got an email from an address that said the address was Final Fantasy something something at Hotmail, and I was like, delete, because I want nothing to do with that. I'm teaching math. I don't want to think about that. That has nothing to do with me. I had no idea that that was a game and somebody was excited about a game, and that was just their email address. So if you're going to use a private email address, you might make sure that it's something that might not just get ignored because of the name of it. So, but using your email, your Eagle Mail is the best way to make sure this is getting where it needs to get and you're communicating well with your instructors or whomever. If you ever have to miss class, it's a good idea to communicate early and often with your instructor. Hey, I got a flat tire. Hey, I have a doctor's appointment. Good communication is important to make this thing work as smoothly as possible. It helps us to work with you to help you be as successful as you can be. So the moral of the story is, please use your Eagle Mail. We want to communicate with you, and we would like you to be able to receive that communication and communicate back. We're glad you're here. Thanks. Maricela, I believe you're muted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Lyles. For those of you that as we go along, please go ahead and if you have questions or if you have any comments that you want, please add them to the chat. We're currently in streaming it live to Facebook and Discord, and then we are a big, about 90-ish people are currently in our WebEx directly with us here in our WebEx room. So you are welcome to please type any questions or comments. I see somebody has a hand up and I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but if you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and type it so that we can address it fairly quickly. And then as time goes by, we can open it up to everybody else. So now I'm going to ask Dr. Angela Reese from the business department if she could please give us a rundown on Blackboard, what it is and what it means to everybody.
Yes, ma'am, I am happy to. And while my screen is transferring over to, let's just make sure that's there. I just want to welcome everybody. Hello, Eagles. Thank you so much for the interaction that you've had thus far. As Maricela said, I am one of the faculty members, and this is the type of interaction we want to see in our classes. So if you are coming to campus and you are taking classes in the lecture format, if you are doing some type of blended, if you're doing something in Blackboard, if you have a synchronous virtual, which don't worry, we're going to explain what all of these different types of classes are. Whatever the type is that you sign up for, be present, be aware, communicate, let us see your faces. It's so awesome to get to know you guys. Another great thing, I'm going to keep that conversation going just a smidge as we get into Blackboard here, is the importance of that communication, not only because we know where you're at, we know who you are, we also know how to help you, and not just with what the class is, what your schedule is, making sure that you're on the right path. I love for my students, even in online, I interact frequently every day. And when they introduce themselves to me in the discussion board, I want them to tell me details. That way I know if I can tell them, hey, you might want to consider taking this class. You might consider getting on a certificate. This could help you in career advancement. So make sure to tell us all about yourselves. So Blackboard, if you were thinking, well, what are they talking about? Well, Blackboard is our virtual classroom. So if you're going to be taking an online course, you will 100% be using Blackboard. Most of our lecture classes also have some type of Blackboard component. Now, the reason I haven't shown it to you just yet is because I want you to know that those of you who are brand new, I think I only saw one person say that they'd already started classes this summer, and I apologize if I missed one. But those of you who are starting August 22nd, you will not be able to click on anything that I'm showing you in Blackboard. You will not have access until 3 days prior to your first class. So just kind of sit back, relax. This is being recorded. I'm also going to show you where an in-depth, because we're not doing completely in-depth today, but I'm going to show you where you can find that if this isn't enough. So this is our homepage. If you haven't caught on to that just yet, it is just ctcd.edu. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this homepage, this is just one of the ways to get there, you will see our quick links down at the bottom. Once you are down to these quick links, you can just click on this Blackboard right here. Once you do, you will be brought to the Blackboard login page. Now, this is something that you can also save to your computer. I have it saved to mine, so I don't have to go through all these steps every time. It's ctc.blackboard.com. You can save it as one of your favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites as well. So when you are able to log in, again, the first time you can is 3 days prior to your first class. So if your first class is August 22nd, the Friday prior, I believe, is the 19th, and you will be able to log in on that day. You'll just enter your username, password, and log in. So since this is all your first time to log in, if you want to, or you jot this down, you can, but your username is going to be your CTC ID. And if you don't know your CTC ID, no problem. If you click on this, look up my Blackboard username, it will take you here, and you can enter your first name, your last name, and your date of birth. Make sure you click that you're not a robot, and it will let you know it's your user ID, which again is your CTC ID. And then your password. The first time that you log in, your password is going to be your date of birth, month, day, year. So if you were born today, it would be 080222. Okay, so just 6 digits there. Once you are all the way logged in, you will see something similar to this. Now, yours, of course, is going to look a little bit different because mine, of course, is a faculty login. But what you're going to want to search for is this thing right here that says your courses, or it says my courses. Once you do that, you will be able to see a list. You can see my classes I have for the summer and also the classes that I have coming up for this fall. All of them will be listed there. So if you sign up for 3 classes, you'll see all 3 classes. Now, the course that we're going to check out right here is going to be this BUSI 1301. So once I click on this right here, this link, it's going to take me into BUSI 1301 Business Principles. The reason I'm showing you this course is because I see a lot of people on general studies and interdisciplinary studies. This is actually a course that you can take in the 0900 component area because you're all going to work for a business, whether it's in welding, nursing, or in the field itself. So a couple great things that we want to share with you on Blackboard. Most of your classes are going to come to this home screen, which is typically going to be the announcements. Some faculty members might have their setup a little bit differently, and they might have it take you to a different location. One thing that's very important is to make sure that you read all of the announcements when you log in. You'll see that some professors like to post announcements frequently, just kind of news and events, what's going on campus, updates in their specific course. Some instructors just use emails, some use messages, but you will get to know your instructors and their preferred type of communication. But for example, for me, I have quite a bit on here that I like for my students to check out. You can scroll and you can look every time you log in. So this is a page that is going to be used frequently by a lot of your instructors. Now, on the left-hand side, a lot of these are going to be similar in all of your classes. Some might not be there. There might be some that are added. So for example, in this class, I just want you to look on the left-hand side. I've got my syllabus, I've got my lessons, my article report, discussion, and exams. In another class, it might say research paper, or it might say blog. So depending on the type of assignments you have, that's going to look a little bit different for each of your classes. At the top, though, this is going to be very consistent. So first time getting into Blackboard, you're going to want to look at Start Here. I'm not going to go over all of it. It's just stuff that you have resources to, familiarizing yourself with Blackboard, a variety of different resources that are available. Below that, you are going to read all about Biosig Id. We do not have test proctors at CTC for our online classes. However, we do have a biosite enrollment that I'll talk about here in just a second. But basically what it does is it's similar to a proctor, but it basically blurs out everything in the background and really even blurs out you. And it just allows us to make sure that you are the person, the sole person taking the exam, that you are not, if you're not allowed to be using notes or a phone or a textbook or something in the background, it just shows that you are the person taking the exam. Below that, we have our messages. Again, this is something that should be in each of your classes. I can't click on any of these because it would show you who is enrolled in my class. But if I had something in my inbox, I would be able to click on it and reply to it. Below that, we have our instructor information. So you can see there all of the information about each of your professors, email, phone number, office hours, who their department chair or supervisor might be in case you need to get a hold of somebody. Just so you know, we do try very hard to make sure that we reply within 24 to 48 hours. But if something happens and you don't get a reply after 48 hours, feel free to reach out to your instructors again. Now, the meat and the potatoes of your entire Blackboard course, in my opinion, and in many others, you'll hear this throughout the night, is read the syllabus. This is your roadmap to success. This tells you exactly what you have to do in order to be successful in the course. Most of these are set up fairly similar. On syllabus page 1, you will see information, just kind of an overview of the course in the description. You will see what course materials you may or may not need for a specific course. Some of them have free resources. Others you do have to, of course, purchase some type of course material. You will also see frequently asked questions if your instructor has those included. And then toward the bottom in most of your classes, you will see this new student orientation presentation. Now, this is specific to Blackboard. So if this isn't enough and you want more detailed overview of Blackboard, you can go to this site. I'm going to scroll back up, hopefully not make anybody sick. Syllabus page 2, this is what you're going to want to print out. The reason I say this is because this is something that keeps you on track to success. This tells you the start and the end date. It tells you the type of course that it is. It also gives you the due dates or suggested due dates. So this is very important because you can see here, this is a 16-week course. You see that it starts in August and ends in December. And you also see that it is a self-paced course. This means if you sign up for a self-paced course, it has a start date and an end date. Everything in between are suggested due dates. I do suggest strongly that you meet those suggested due dates, because what happens is you might get all the way to December 9th and think, I have plenty of time to do all 20 assignments, no problem. And then you realize that you don't have time because you haven't read the book or because you have technology issues, the internet goes down, there's a storm, you never know what's going to happen. So don't wait until the last minute. This summer, I had a student wait until the last day. The individual did all of the assignments except for the exams. They waited till the last day to do all of the exams for the course and started about 4 o'clock. The course ends at 11:59. And guess what? They ran into an issue. CTC is closed on Fridays during the summer, so we didn't have a lot of help for them. I actually saw the message, but at that point in time, they had waited until the final hours of the course to take 4 exams, and we ran into a major issue. So please don't do that. So the schedule of assignments, this is what I suggest you print off. I'm somebody who likes to highlight, cross off, check, just to make sure I have it all done, even though there's other places that you can do it. I just physically like to do that. So as I complete an assignment, I might cross it off. The other thing I want to show you on this page here is that you will also have this course grade component. It shows you what you have to have in order to get a passing grade in the course. So you can see if you want to get an A, you have to have 900 points. So you can also see that just by taking the exams, there are not enough points to pass. So you actually have to do the assignments that are listed in there as well. Do we have any questions so far, Marcelli or Bruce or Matt?
Can you talk a little bit about what materials and where they get their materials? Because that seems to be a theme.
Oh, sure. So I'm going to go back to syllabus page 1. And syllabus page 1 is where you will see in the course what you need. However, you can go to our bookstore at any time. And let me just slip out of here and show you where that is. So go back to the home page, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can go down to the CTC bookstore down here. Click on CTC books. Is this what you're asking me to do, Marcelli? Okay, click on the CTC bookstore, and I'll just quickly show you what this one looks like. We're going to click on textbooks. I want to buy my textbooks or rent it. From here, I'm going to put the information in about the course. This one is a CTC distance learning. It's BUSI 1301, all staff. Add course to list, and then I'm going to go get my books. So you can see here that you can either use the OER. So if you see this OER, and I'm glad I picked this one, but that means Open Educational Resource. That means if this is there, this is something that is free for you. You don't have to pay for it. So basically you can just go to this link right here now, since you don't have access to Blackboard for my course, and you can start reading the book. If you wanted a hard copy of the book, that is something that you could purchase for $54 if you're somebody who likes to physically hold, see, and look at the book. Other questions, Marcelli?
Can you also show like where in the website it also has the materials?
Yes. The books and instructional materials?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so I'm back to the homepage and I am at the quick links at the bottom. So I'm going to click on this. Give me just a second. So this course, I always have to bear with me to read it. Let's see, course is starting August 22nd. That's us. All right, and so if you wanted to look it up here, we can type in BUSI 1301. Let me scroll down because I always forget to do this part. We are going to do online, and I'm going to hit go. So now you can see here the book that is required for this course, and you can get it for free here, or where I was just at was at this Texas bookstore. If you are not local, some of you I think I saw were not local, you would click on worldwide. Other questions?
That's all for now.
Okay, two other things that I want to show you in Blackboard. So I jumped back to Blackboard. Where you can check your progress is by going to My Grades on the left-hand side over here. If you click on My Grades, it's going to show you every single assignment along with what your score is. So obviously I don't have anything turned in, so that's why it has this little negative mark right here versus the actual score. So once the score is there, the numeric grade will be there. Plus you'll be able to view if your instructor gave you any comments, a little blue bubble, and then also the rubric for how it was graded. So that is something important to make sure that you have stuff turned in. If it's submitted but not graded, you will see an exclamation point that is white inside of a yellow circle. If you have submitted part of an assignment, so for example, discussion boards, sometimes like in my classes, I require you to have 3 peer replies. So if you just submit your post and don't reply to anybody, it's not going to show that you finished it. It's going to show a blue bubble showing that it is not yet complete, that it's in progress. So make sure to check here to make sure if you have done everything that you should in order for that assignment to be graded. The other thing that I want to show you is regarding Biosig. Now, this is something that is important, and it is something that you will see in almost every one of your classes. So we have Biosig ID and Biosite ID. Biosig ID is going to require you to create a 4-digit passcode that you will use in every single one of your classes. So the first time you do it, you're going to go under this enrollment area here. You're going to read all about it. And then you're going to come down and create your enrollment link through the enrollment link here. Once you do that, you will have your Biosig ID set up, and you will use it again in every single class that you go to. So what does that look like? Well, I'm going to show you real quick. So we're going to go over to lessons, and you can see that all of my lessons are hidden right now. And it's because I want you to verify your Biosig ID. So what you do is you click on this right here, this lessons verification. It's going to ask you for that Biosig ID. You can use the same one that I'm using, because basically what it does is it tracks how we individually create that. It's going to tell me that I did a good job, and now all of the lessons are released. So now I will be able to see every single lesson and actually start on my course. Now that is a quick overview of Blackboard. If you do want more though in depth, if you go to the students page, you will be able to get to all of the recorded CTC lives, and about halfway down the page, You can find the one that says using Blackboard. It's about 45 minutes. I will link this in the chat here in just a second, and you will be able to watch that. Again, it goes into much greater detail. And please, if you have any questions, let me know.
There's a really good question. It
Okay.
says, from Aaron, it says, so I would have to buy a camera to take my course?
No, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. So in order to use, so when you actually test, if you do not have a camera in your computer, you are able to set up a webcam on a cell phone. So they are able to help you. And in your classes, under that link that I showed you, and I can go back if anybody wants me to show you where that was, but at the very top left-hand corner where it said Biosig enrollment, you can click on that and there's a help desk link in that. Click on that and tell them that you need to set up using your cell phone instead of a webcam on your computer, and they'll be able to set that up for you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Reese. And
Yes,
I'm just going to use this as a segue because we're going to go into the faculty panel. And you've already met the two faculty members that are going to be participating, which are Dr. Angela Reese and Professor Matthew Lyles. And so please go ahead and type any questions that you might have about classes, about things, how they work, what should a faculty member, what does a faculty member expect from a student, what questions you have of an actual faculty member. So just to remind you, Dr. Reese is even though she is a business professor, she is also she oversees all the business online classes. So she has a very good awareness of how classes are taught online, especially, and really every single way because she's pretty knowledgeable overall. So she can actually answer some of that. And then Professor Lyles has been teaching math, and I think we ended up getting especially familiar with each other because during the pandemic, he was so frustrated that he couldn't get a hold of his students whenever it was time to try to figure out this whole new thing called synchronous virtual learning. And he was trying to figure out how to get a hold of his students, and he would call them and nobody answered, or email them and nobody emailed him back. And if that doesn't show you the quality of our faculty, I don't know what to say. So please type any questions that you might have. But to set everything off, can you guys, as professors, kind of give us your hot tip that you would recommend every single student needs to keep in mind to be successful in a classroom?
Yes, ma'am, of course. So I'm gonna have to say again 2 things, and then I'll go on to my next one. Communicate, read the syllabus. That's my top 2. But then after that, and I do see some questions coming in, but one thing that is very important for brand new students to understand is that at CTC, we have a drop requirement. If you are not active, even if it's self-paced, regardless of what type of class you sign up for, if it's a lecture, go to class, show them your face, check the box that you came in for attendance. If it's online, logging into class is not attendance. Logging into class and completing at least one assignment on the syllabus, it's going to tell you what assignment it is that you need to complete. If you do not do that by the date that is listed, even in a self-paced class, you could be dropped from your courses. You will be dropped from your courses unless you are certain types of students. So please, please, please make sure that you read that syllabus and see what that first assignment is that you have to do to stay in class.
All right. Dr. Reese has already said communicates. He's already said read the syllabus. So I'll come up with a different one. I like to say those things. So I would say don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get help. You know where you are better than anyone else does. We cannot read your mind, however strange that might be. But we have all kinds of tutoring resources. We have an academic studio. We have a math lab. We have a writing lab. We have all kinds of things where we want to see you succeed, and we want to help you do that. But if you don't ask, then we can't, and we would like to help you. I would also say that every one of your professors have office hours. And if you need to get some help from your professor, go to that office hour. Ask a question. Don't be shy. Don't be one of these people who go, I don't want to bother them. ask your question, but come in a little bit prepared. Say, you know, I was trying to do this and I don't understand this, or I was, you know, don't just say, I'm stuck. You know, you want to come in and give them, help them to understand where you are, what you're struggling with, that you've actually attempted, whatever it is you want help with, and that we are here to help. You know, that's every single faculty member has those office hours, and we want to help you.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. I saw a really great question here that said, what would be like the one tool? It's something along the lines of, what is a one tool that you would recommend the students have?
The one tool.
Mhm. Is there anything that you would recommend at all?
Not necessarily. I mean, other than the ability to have reliable internet, for sure, is something that would be very important for you, regardless of, unless, I mean, there might be a few classes that wouldn't be as important. Like I know we've got a few welders on here, so I'm not sure how much you will have to do on Blackboard, but everybody else, almost every single one of you will be using Blackboard in some capacity. You can access it on your phone. However, it's very limited in what you can and cannot do. And it's a lot slower than if you were to actually log into Blackboard from a laptop or, you know, a PC or something.
I'm gonna say, and I'm not a faculty member, but something that helps sometimes is having an agenda on paper. I'm just gonna throw that one out there because you're trying to figure out school, life, and a few other things. So if I'm gonna say a tool, would be some version of an agenda or scheduler or something like that.
Or a
That's
planner.
that's a great point, a planner. Thank you for bringing that one up. One thing that I like to share that just completely slipped my mind, that when I was working on my doctorate and working and having kids and, you know, all the other fun things of life, right? So I had the big desk calendar that I wrote every single thing down to include go for a run, time to work out, time to take your kid to school, time for your dissertation part 1 to be due. I wrote all these things down, and then for the whole semester. And then what I would do is say, okay, everything is written down for the whole semester that I have to do, and then take it 1 week at a time. And if you forget something, if something slips, make sure to add it to the next week. If you're somebody that prefers it on technology, whatever works best for you. I know some people will do the calendar and never look at it again. So find something, a way for you to keep track of it.
And
Angela,
reiterate.
I'm sorry, Angela and Matt, I see a question in reference to military students. Can you speak to how you would handle a military student that has commitments and due dates that may be missed due to military commitments?
We'll go back to the communication. I see that you I'm scrolling through the chat too. That's a really important one. And it's whether it's military or if it's anything else in life that you have going on, make sure that you communicate with your instructors ahead of time. Let them know, hey, I'm going to be gone for this 2-week period. You know, I have field exercises, or I'm going to be, you know, whatever it is. Tell them as much as you can. We understand that there's certain things that you can't tell us. And then that way we can help you come up with a plan in order to work around it.
And sometimes things come up and you don't have advance notice, but as soon as you can communicate, please do. So yeah, we will do our best to work with you at all times, regardless of the circumstances. Life happens, and we're aware of this. Our life happens too, so we get it. But we want to do whatever we can to help you succeed. We had said briefly earlier that reliable internet was a good tool, and it's probably important to say that there's free Wi-Fi everywhere on campus. So please feel free to use that at any time. I remember during the pandemic, people would drive up and sit in the parking lot and use Wi-Fi. So I mean, whatever works, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you need internet access, come on. We have computers, we have internet, we have Wi-Fi, we have whatever. Yeah, if you don't know how to make something work, ask one of us. It doesn't matter if we don't know the answer, we can find somebody else that does.
Here's a question that came up, and I don't know if it's been answered in the chat. If I'm a distance learner and the class I register doesn't have a date and a time, does it mean it's a self-paced class?
If it doesn't have a date and a time, if it doesn't have a time, oh, I see. So it's
Yeah.
an OLL traditional.
It just says, so if I'm a distance learner and the class we register doesn't have a date and a time, does it mean it is a self-paced class? But I'm sure they meant self-paced class.
So, and for online, and I believe that registration is going to be going here in a little bit. I'm not sure, Marcella, correct me if I'm wrong. But there are two different types of online classes. So we have traditional online that has deadlines, and then we have self-paced. If it's self-paced, it will specifically say that it is self-paced when you go into Eagle Self-Serve. And it says, let's see, William tells us it will have an SP on it for self-paced. Thank you, Eva. I see you now too.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm the one who asked the question.
Yes.
Malka. So it says on here, it says distance learning 100% online, no face-to-face internet online lecture. Does that mean it is a self-paced class?
That one is not a self-paced class. That is an online class that has deadlines in it, has a start and an end date. You don't have any meeting components, so you don't have to be there, at a specific time or anything. So you can log in at your will. However, there are deadlines that you have to follow.
But meaning there's no like live
Correct.
teaching basically. Got
Correct.
it. Got it. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you for asking.
Here's another question that I have never seen before, and I hope we can answer it. A student
Me
was
too.
asking that they're in the band and they have a band class. Does the band provide the instrument, or does the student have to provide their own instrument? That question has never ever come up, so I'm not sure we can answer that.
Calvin, are you in there? Calvin, are you still in? This is your moment to shine if you are. Unmute yourself and talk, please. I don't know if you're still in, but if you are, please, please, please. And if not, I'm going to, Jennifer, can you get a hold of him and get an answer for us, please?
Yeah, I think Calvin owns his, but I'm going to go ahead and text him. Hold on just a second.
And the reason I say that is that he's actually a music major and he has band classes. So I've never seen him with an instrument, but I think his instrument is not a carryable one. So I don't know.
Okay, for the student that asked that, I'm going to type my email address into the chat, and I would appreciate if you would send me your email address so I can get an answer if we don't get one for you. And that way I can respond to you via email tomorrow.
I also see a question about Biosig ID. So you cannot enroll with Biosig ID until you have access to Blackboard. So once you have access to Blackboard, you will create that Biosig ID that first time. And then after you do it, you will still have to verify it in all of your classes. Some instructors might use it on their quizzes. Some might use it on their lessons. You never know where an instructor is going to have that added.
So, okay, I think we've got some really good questions coming up. I don't know if we have any others that we haven't addressed, but for the most part, I'm going to actually say really quickly, Professor Lyle, can you just really quickly talk about the difference between our math department and what we're able to do compared to other math departments and what they've done? Because I will say that our math department is kind of cool. And I'm going to kind of say that mostly because a lot of students are afraid of math and what that means.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure what you meant by kind of cool or whatever, but how are we different? Well, I mean, we're math people, so math people are different. But I think what Marcelli's saying is that we do our best to make it fun, to interact with you, and to make it to where, we understand that in a math class that math builds on itself. And it's really hard to build a skyscraper if you leave off the 12th through the 15th floors. So if you have a rough experience at some point, you got to go back in and kind of fill in the gaps on some of that to keep building upward. And we're here to help and to make it more interesting. And we do it our best to make sure that that happens. Is that mostly what you were going for? Or are we talking about Math Lab here?
Well, no, that's what I mean. It's just, I don't know. I always kind of rave about our math department because in my experience, was very fuddy-duddy, and you guys are anything but. So I always feel that a lot of individuals don't realize how blessed they are to have the math instructors that we have at CTC. That's my
Gotcha.
whole thing.
Okay, well, we try to bring a lot of energy to it and make it fun because we understand that it's not everybody's favorite, and so we want you to have this little spoonful of sugar to make it through the experience, right? Also, I'll reiterate this. They'll talk more about other tutoring opportunities, but in the math department, in the same building that your class will be in, if you're a face-to-face student, there is they call it the advanced math lab, but the teachers just call it the math lab. And you can go in there. They're open a lot. I can't remember what their hours are going to be this fall, but it's something like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Thursday, and then Friday like 8 to 3 or something like that. But your instructor will let you know day one exactly what that is. And you can go in there anytime to work on your homework, to get help, to do whatever. And they're available more often than your instructors will be. Obviously, your instructors have office hours and you can go ask them questions anytime. But you can go to the math lab, and it's nice to be able, you're working on your homework, you have a question, instead of just being stuck and sitting there, you email your instructor and you're waiting for a response. You can ask your question and get an immediate response, get right back on the path and keep moving forward. And to reiterate something that Dr. Reese said earlier, and maybe Dr. Stark, I have no idea who all has said it, but homework is where the learning happens, people. Do it. Do all of it. Do your best to get 100% on your homework, because if you can do that, you're learning the material and you're going to be more prepared when test time comes. Now, a lot of folks, a lot of professors provide some sort of material to help you prepare for quizzes and exams. Take advantage of that. If they're going to spend the time to make this resource to try to help you be more successful, I would suggest using that. We want to do everything we can to make it work for you.
Tanya, do you have a question? Because you keep unmuting yourself, but you have a lot of background noise, so I keep muting you, but you seem to have a question. If you do, please type it in the chat. In the meantime, there have been some questions about what happens if the bookstore doesn't have the instructional materials that are listed as necessary for the class. What should the students do?
So it depends on the situation. Each course is just a little bit different. So I'm just going to kind of answer generally. If the bookstore doesn't have it, meaning it's out of stock, then the professors are also aware of that issue. So if there is something going on, they will let us know. In a lot of the cases, though, we do have the ability for you to purchase directly through our classes. So the course I showed you was a free book. So you just click on the link and it's free. In other classes, you can also buy the book directly from the class. You can rent it. The online, of course, access the ebook if that's something that you're interested in. But again, if the bookstore is out for whatever reason, we are aware of that issue. So you would not be penalized for that. We would have some type of a workaround. In some instances, for example, in one of my classes, they give you, or in several of my classes, they give you the first chapter for free so that you can see if you like the ebook, but then also to help with this type of issue.
Yes. So thank you very, very much. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's also some publishers where they'll give you something like a 2-week free trial, which will give you that extra free time, whether you're waiting for a paycheck or the physical material's not available or whatever. So there's like Dr. Reese was saying, there's lots of different, each department's different, each course is different, but listen to your instructor, or if it's an online course, read your announcements in your email. There will be announcements in Blackboard, and they'll tell you some of these things. Make sure that if you need to, in a math class, you have a 2-week free trial. Use it, and then when you have your money to pay for it, or you have your materials because they're coming in the mail or whatever, use it at that point.
All right. Well, thank you very much to our faculty. I really want to say thank you for being here. A special shout out to Professor Lyles, who this is his last official a new student orientation as a professor, since he has moved on to being an associate dean now, which we're really happy about. Yay! Thank you so much for always being such a great support of our students. But now I'm going to ask Ms. Pearl Creviston if she could please help us figure out financial aid and everything that entails. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the financial aid part of our meeting tonight. I have been chatting with several people privately, so I think I've answered most of the questions that have been coming up. But a lot of
Pearl, can you give me 1 second? This is for Tanya Allard. I am the one who keeps muting you because there's a lot of background noise on you. If you have a question, please type it into the chat. Thank you. Go ahead, Pearl.
Okay. And so one of the things I wanted to start off with is, of course, the FAFSA application itself. Most of you should have already completed one if you are planning on using any type of financial aid at CTC. And if you did, you would have done the 22-23 FAFSA application. One of the questions in the chat did ask, well, how long does the application process take? I'm not sure if you're referring to the FAFSA or a different application. But the FAFSA itself, from the time you do it till the time they send it to us, is typically 3 to 5 business days. So we get it very quickly, and we respond the same day we get it to your email on file. So that could either be your Eagle Mail address, or it may be the email address that you used on your admissions application. So you definitely want to keep up with your emails. If you did a FAFSA application months and months ago, even as long ago as a year, and you haven't looked at your Eagle self-serve and seen an award notice already, then you want to do that before you register for classes to make sure that the financial aid that you qualified for on the FAFSA is actually processed with CTC. So a lot of times students will say, I did the FAFSA, but they never followed up. And we've asked for additional information. They didn't get the email. Maybe the email went into their junk file, and they're waiting for classes to start and have financial aid and find out it may be several more weeks before the aid is processed. So the most important thing you can do for yourself is after you complete a FAFSA, give it about a week, check your emails. If you don't see anything from us, you need to contact us. Sometimes files get rejected because the Social Security number is either missing on your admissions application or it's incorrect, and the FAFSA can't match to it. Other times your FAFSA gets rejected from the Department of Ed and they don't send it to us, but they do at least tell us why it's rejected. So we'd be able to look that up on your student ID number and find out what the problem is. But let's all pretend that tonight's students are way ahead of the game. Everybody's done their FAFSA, all their financial aid is awarded, and you're ready to go. So with that assumption, what's next? So a lot of students have questions about, how does it work once I have financial aid? I went in and tried to pay for my classes using my financial aid and it won't let me. So your financial aid is an automatic process, and the aid does not get released until 10 days prior to the start of each class. Some students sign up, for instance, for 12 credit hours for the full term. They all start at the same time. All the classes start, let's say, on August 22nd. And that means your financial aid is going to release in full for that term the 12th of August, 10 days prior to the start of the class. On the 12th, what happens, it doesn't get released to you, the student, it gets released to the business office. The business office has a student account for you, and they put that money in your student account. The student account will then be paying for your tuition for any charges that are outstanding that you haven't paid for, or paid for it in full if your financial aid is how you're paying for all of your classes. And then any remaining aid is automatically, on the same day, made available at the CTC bookstore. Let's say you're not full-time now. You decided you're going to take 6 hours, which is full-time for online classes when they're shorter, like 8-week classes. You may only take 2 in the first 8 weeks, but then you're going to follow that with 2 more in the second 8 weeks. So how does your aid handle that? Your financial aid, again, will release 10 days prior to the start of each class. So 2 of them start in August, maybe the other 2 don't start till October. All of your financial aid isn't going to release at one time. It's going to release half the first part of in August. The second half will be in October. So once your financial aid releases and then it pays for your tuition, it's made available at the bookstore. So how do you charge your books against a financial aid balance at the bookstore? You do that by using your CTC email or ID number. Your ID number. So when you're charging books, you can either do this online or you can do this in person. You will put in your CTC ID number and it will charge those books and supplies, whatever you need, up to the balance that you have. If you go over that balance, it'll tell you now you have to pay some difference because you've used too much. So let's say you're an in-state resident student and your financial aid for the fall term is $3,000. Your tuition for 12 hours is going to be $1,200. So that $1,200 will be deducted from your charges and the rest of it will be used at the bookstore. Now let's say you go to the bookstore and you only spend $500. The remaining balance of that $3,000 is going to be sent to you, the student, about 30 days after classes start. That is when it is made available to you and is sent either by paper check or what we all recommend at CTC, especially with a transient population, is direct deposit. On the student finance page of Eagle Self-Serve, there is a place for you to go in and enter your bank account and routing number. When you do that, then they will send you a test dollar and pull that dollar back. And that verifies that your account is in good standing, it's working, the numbers match, everything lines up. And then your balances will automatically be sent to your bank account. So the financial aid and the Pell Grant is what I've been referring to, but there are many types of financial aid that fall under financial aid for students. Another one is your student loans. Your student loans require an additional step on your process by completing an entrance counseling and a master promissory note. You are sent those directions on your award notice if you are interested in a student loan. When you go to your award notice, you'll see a link right there in Student Self-Serve that says, if you're interested in a loan, you can accept the loan. However, you then need to click on those links to complete the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. That way your loan will be able to process and be completed, and the same thing holds true with your loans and scholarships and any other aid that you're receiving that's under the Title IV will be released 10 days prior to the start of classes. Now, you are a first-time student, fresh out of high school. You've never had a student loan. This is going to be your first time in college, and it's going to be your first loan. You're going to have to wait 30 days after classes start for your first loan to be dispersed. And that is something that's required by the Department of Ed, and it's one time in your lifetime where you called a first-time loan borrower. So in that case, it means your loan will be released, it will be applied to charges, it would be able to be available for you for a balance. However, if the loan is the only thing you've qualified for, you may have to purchase books out of pocket up front, and then you'll get reimbursed when you get your balance. But that is basically the Title IV process, and under Title IV, the free money is Pell Grant, P-E-L-L, student loans, and Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, which we call SEOG. And if you've been awarded that, it is something our institution determines eligibility for based on your FAFSA application. So it's automatic, you don't apply for it. There's many other types of aid. Another one that I have already awarded for the fall term, so that anybody that has a scholarship that has been awarded and it's already been sent to the school, or it's been issued by our foundation, I've already awarded those to the student accounts. And you will see those in your student Eagle self-serve also under my awards. You'll be able to see the detail, how much it is. And they all have different criteria. Some require 12 hours, some require 6 hours, some require 3 hours, but most of the time you as a student have already been told that when you were awarded that. If you have questions, I put my information in the chat earlier, and you can email me directly so that I can look up your individual account to verify any questions that you have. I won't discuss personal information in this type of a setting just because it's all confidential. So just so you know, the financial aid under Title IV would include your Pell Grant again, your student loans, and SEOG. Scholarships are considered another source of financial aid. And then the third biggest one that we get a lot of questions about is the veterans benefits. Anybody receiving Hazelwood or VA benefits. We have a VA department right here on campus in the same building as the financial aid. We're downstairs and they're located upstairs. But for VA, your basic process to start with is to obtain a certificate of eligibility from the Veterans Administration. They will send you the eligibility that you're going to have as a veteran. And this would include if you're giving your benefit to a student, if you're using a parent's information, if you are the soldier yourself, then your information is directly tied to you as the veteran. They'll send you the letter of eligibility and you will turn that in to the VA department at CTC. They will then process a voucher to help pay for those classes. And in some cases, you don't receive that. You may be receiving a stipend, a living expense, but the VA department would actually be able to help you with all of that. We have James Morgan here on our campus, and he works directly for the VA. He's here as your advocate. He's here to help you answer questions, obtain certificates, get any information that you need. And he's an awesome asset for you as a student to have right here on the CTC campus. And he's a great pleasure to work with. He's just an awesome individual. And if you really don't know where to start and you're really confused, I would recommend that you speak with James Morgan and get information from him to help you with your VA process. Hazelwood. Hazelwood, we are kind of in a little bit of a transition right now. We've lost the person who did our Hazelwood. So in the financial aid office, we have an employee who has been helping get that going and keeping it running. So our process right now for Hazelwood is an application that you would fill out in e-forms on the CTC website. There is an actual Hazelwood application. So that's where you would start. You would complete the Hazelwood application. You would submit that. And then you would actually see Brandy Sappenfield in the financial aid office. You can email her, contact her, and I'll put her information in there shortly. But Brandy Sappenfield is actually processing the Hazelwood applications. So once you do that process, it'll come to Brandy. Brandy will process a form and send it over to the business office. When they process it, I would give it about 2 to 3 days for that voucher to actually show the payment. If you have questions at that point, you would contact the business office to find out if there's another issue or a problem with that. But you do have to have, I just glanced over and saw someone said you need a degree plan required to turn in. You do need to have a copy of the actual degree plan that you are going to be working on when you're using veterans benefits, because they have that as a requirement in order to award benefits. But your advising team should actually provide that for you. And if not, you can reach out to academic advising. And I see my friend Eva has already posted that information because she's so awesome. So we all are just one building apart from each other. And at some point, you may talk to every one of us to try and get information. And I hope that you do. The worst thing you can do in this situation when you're trying to go to school is be shy about asking questions. We don't know what questions you have, and we can't help you unless you tell us about that. I see my CAA question just came up, and we actually have a website or a web page on our website for my CAA for military spouses that may have eligibility, and you complete an application directly with my CAA. But you can go to our website for a link to them if you don't have that already. It is available on our website. And someone just put Brandy's app information on there, and thank you very much. That will be your point of contact for Hazelwood specifically. Another question that we get a lot in financial aid is, I want to move on to a 4-year school. I'm ready to do that, but
You don't sit down, I'm putting you on the ground.
but
3,
I'm not
2, 1.
I'm not quite done with CTC. I may have a few lower level classes. But in this case, what you're doing and asking for is called a consortium agreement. And a consortium agreement is done at the upper level school. It allows you to receive your financial aid there, but take some lower level classes and have them verified here by us that you're actually registered. We will then certify to them that yes, Adam is taking 6 hours here, he's taking 6 hours at A&M, and A&M is going to be able to pay for 12 hours. So that process is handled by Lucette Brett, and she is our Associate Dean over Financial Aid and VA. And her office is also in the VA department upstairs in Building 215. And she would be your point of contact for consortium agreements if you're trying to go to an upper level school and use financial aid while you're at CTC. So you don't do a FAFSA application for both schools. You will only do it for your upper level school. So many of the questions that we get in financial aid are unfortunately after the fact, and a lot of times it's processing because we are trying to process so many last minute files at the last minute. And my best advice to you is, if you really wanted to use financial aid but you haven't started yet, go ahead and do it anyway, but make some other payment arrangement for your classes in the meantime. Then if you do qualify for financial aid, we will still go back and award your financial aid for the current term. It just would be an after the fact. So it's never too late to apply within the school year. You can apply. We will award financial aid for any eligible courses. So as to the eligible courses, this is another very, very important piece. You have to take classes that are required for your degree plan, or financial aid and VA will not pay for those classes. So a lot of times what students will do, they'll say, well, I'm working on a nursing program here at CTC, but I need another class. Mariceli, are you telling me to shut up? We could go on all day long, but she's over there waving at me that I've gone over already. But just real briefly, make sure that your classes are required for your degree plan, and you pay attention to the date ranges for the terms. Financial aid will not pay for overlapping classes. So if you have a class that starts in October and it doesn't end till January, that's the spring term, we won't pay for it. All of that is on your award notice. All of that is on our website. So go to the CTC Financial Aid webpage and you will have all the questions answered that you could ever come up with. Thank you all very much, and I'm done. Sorry.
No, thank you as always. You are so popular. Everybody always has questions with financial aid, and a lot of them, even if she has not been able to answer them directly, they have been answered in the chat, which is why it's so important that you put everything in your chat. So now going,
Marcella, real quick,
yes, sir.
before you go on, I'm just, for other questions about financial aid, check out CTC Live. There are several financial aid sessions in there that you can access. I just put the link in there. So if you have questions about financial aid, review one of those CTC Lives. There are several in there that answer multiple questions, so that may be of assistance.
Yes. So thank you so much, Pearl. As always, we love having you here. It's so exciting. You are so popular. Everybody loves you, mostly because you give money. No, just kidding. You're so wonderful. We do love you. But now it's time to talk a little bit about academic advising, and we're just gonna throw it now. Are you ready? Yes, to our Associate Dean, Ava Hutchins. She oversees enrollment services, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about academic advising and everything that you need to know, the basics at least for that, because it's a lot.
Thank you, Mariceli. Welcome, everyone. I am just so excited to see this many people coming to our first orientation of the fall season. So that's just so encouraging. I think I see some names I recognize, and that's awesome. So just the biggest thing that we want you to know is that we're here, how you can reach us, and kind of what we can do for you. So we've got some information up here. If you're needing some help with actually registering for classes, I know there could be several of you guys out there still working through that process. So if you need help planning your schedule, picking out which classes, making sure they fit in the degree plan so you can get that financial aid, then you can reach out to us. You can make appointments, but we're also accepting walk-ins. So don't hesitate to walk in if you're around on campus, and that would be easier for you. But if phone or email would be better, then that information's there on the screen as well. We just want to, meet you where you are and help you get through that process. Bear with us. It's getting a little bit, picking up speed on who else coming in. So if you send us an email and you don't hear something back that same day, we will get to it. I think right now we're in about maybe a 24 to 36 hours, business hours for turnaround. Last week was our last Friday closed. So some of you who emailed us on Friday, we're probably getting back to you today or so. But we're here Monday through Friday now, starting in August. So my information that's on the screen now, I want to point out, is about Eagles on Call, which is a great resource for students who maybe work a traditional job, can't make it to campus, 8 to 5, and you need to reach out to an advisor on your time. So that office is actually open 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they're full advising services. They're only available through phone or email, so that information is what's listed, and they are awesome. So if you're having trouble with anything that we've, that I already mentioned, like registering for classes, setting up your degree plan, anything like that, they're also able to do. You don't have to live far away to use their services. CATE advising is specifically for students who are over career technical education programs over in the CATE Center. So if you're in industrial technology, office technology, graphics and printing, those types of programs, I have 2 advisors over there right now, Linda and Tanya, and they will be able to help you with those specific programs, especially for registration in the self-paced classes. So if it's your first time registering, they actually process that for you. If it's your continuing class, then your instructors in your department are registering you for those classes. But that's their contact information, and they're over in building 253 East, which again, it's the Career and Technical Education Center, or CATE is something you may have heard from us. So yeah, that in a nutshell, that's what advising can do for us. I know we've had a lot of questions about degree plans, financial aid, all of that. If you are needing to know where you are in your program, reach out to us. If you're thinking about changing your degree plan, or reach out to us. That can affect your funding source. You want to think about some of these questions that are on the screen, and that's kind of what we're going to go through with you when you're talking about changing your program. If you email us and you just say, hey, what if I were to change my program to criminal justice? And the email is coming from sonic1234@gmail.com. I got nothing to look you up with. So we will experience a turnaround of a delay, because I'm going to have to email you back and say, love to help you, but I need to be able to look at your information to be able to answer that question. We always want to look at your file. We do not want to give you info. So if I can't look at your file, I probably can't answer your question. There's hardly any generic questions in this realm. So we want to answer you for your information. So if you include your name and your ID, or your date of birth, if you're not, if you don't have your ID number memorized, that's fine. Name and date of birth minimum. I can look you up in our system, and I will be able to answer you specifically based on your record. So that's no matter who you're contacting at CTC, by the way, instructors or another office like financial aid, they all feel the same way. And that will turn around the time. That'll take longer on that turnaround time to get your question answered because we don't know who you are. So make sure you tell us your name and your student ID or date of birth. But yeah, when you're thinking about those next steps or potentially changing your degree plan, if you're thinking about transferring to a four-year school, we always talk about Texas A&M. I know Pearl mentioned those with the consortium agreements and whatnot. So if you know that that's your goal, that bachelor's degree, we want to help make sure you plan your classes and stay on path. If you're thinking about Texas A&M, great, we've got information for that. If you're thinking about another college, we'll help you with that as well. So just make sure you're letting your advisor know those goals so that way they can accurately give you information. I don't know, I wasn't here for the beginning of the chat, so I don't know if there was anything specific. Oh, I did want to mention with degree plans, if you need one for vet services or if you are a MyCAA student, MyCAA was mentioned and it's a great funding source. And pretty much you kind of know if you're eligible, if you've gone through that process. Your first step that to get your funding going is getting your program approved with the MyCAA folks. And so that's something that we have to provide to you, and it's super specific to you. And it's more than just your degree plan information. There's some funding costs and things that we have to put on a worksheet. So we have to give that to you, and then you upload that to your account. If you need MyCAA, reach out to any of the advising offices, Eagles on Call, academic advising, or if you're a CATE student, reach out to the CATE advisors and they'll just let them know that you're using that funding source. We always ask that question when we're talking with new students. So that's not something that we're asking to pry into your personal information, but funding affects what we give you. It affects how we advise you with classes and things like that. So if you're using some other funding source other than yourself to pay for your classes, we are asking to make sure that we give you the appropriate information. Yeah.
TSI.
Go ahead.
TSI.
Oh, TSI, yes, thank you. So the TSI questions, you're asking where to take it. Okay, so on Central Campus, it is by appointment only, and due to the influx of peak time, I know they're probably pretty far out where they're booking right now. If you need to test now, and some of you guys, if you're coming in after being with us through some of the COVID, there were some COVID exceptions, and those have expired at this point. So if we're asking for TSI, it's because we need it and you can't register without it. Most likely. If you're not sure, if you think you have an exemption or a waiver, reach out to your, it's the ctcd.edu/TSI page. So you can read about like the general exceptions and waivers. If you think one of those things applies to you, let us know. Give us whatever documentation it might be. Like somebody had mentioned their DD 214. If that's not in the system yet, we would need a copy of whatever paperwork. If it's already there and it hasn't been applied, let us know that you're in that situation and we will take care of that. I just saw a question come in about if you have a bachelor's degree. If you have a conferred bachelor's degree from a regional or non-regionally accredited college in the US, we will give you a TSI exemption. We just need something that shows your conferral date. So it can be an unofficial transcript or an official transcript, but we need that. So if it's TSI and testing and you know you need it, if you don't know you need it, reach out to us. I'd hate to have you test without knowing for sure. So you can always ask us and we'll check that out. If you need to test and the Central Campus isn't available and you have access to Fort Hood, the Fort Hood Testing Center is available, and I believe they may accept some walk-ins. Their information is on the Fort Hood pages, and you can call them to set up an appointment if you need to, or see if you can walk in on a certain day. They are an excellent resource right across the street, so to speak, from Central Campus if you're trying to test. If you're at a distance and you're not here locally, we do provide a proctoring service through Examity, and you can set that up with the Central Campus testing office and they can help you. There's a little bit of an additional fee onto that for their services, but if you're not here locally and you don't have a testing center next to you, you know, in your town or whatever, feel free to use that.
There was a question that said, so I enrolled in Fast Forward and uploaded my JST. So who do I talk about getting those credits converted?
So the JST is an unofficial evaluation. We won't convert it from Fast Forward, but you can go to the link I sent underneath that question to the evaluated credit page to read about how you qualify for an evaluation. And if you're active duty or out of the service, it affects what we need and the documents and the timeline for that. So go check that out and look under your information and it'll give you step-by-step what to do. If there's a form for the non-active duty, they're going to ask you to fill out the request form to get that going. Keep in mind, evaluated credit is only looked at based on what's needed in your program. They don't award all the credit, so you may see a discrepancy between what Fast Forward showed you as a possibility and what you receive on your official evaluation. But yeah, that's a great resource. You just have to get that going. If you're not sure where to start or where you're at in that process with the evaluation, advising is usually like the place I always recommend because we can point you in the right direction, connect you with the right office. We're not doing the evaluation, but we always can link you up with that. So we're always kind of like that triage point of contact with those types of questions. Was there anything else on the TSI? Oh, I mentioned Fort Hood. Check with
Somebody actually asked, what is TSI?
Well, I should, starting at the beginning, good call. TSI is a Texas requirement. So it only applies to students who are, quote, Texas reportable. Texas reportable are students paying Texas tuition rates. If you're in the state of Texas, you are Texas reportable. If you're out of Texas, you may not have to do it. It depends on if you are considered, if you're receiving tuition rates for in-state or not. It stands for Texas Success Initiative, and the state of Texas wants to make sure incoming college students are college ready for reading, writing, and math. So they want to make sure you're prepared for the material you're going to see in those classes and that you can pass them successfully. Based on your TSI assessment, which is the test I was talking about, where you can schedule that, based on those results are going to identify if you're going straight into college classes or if you need any supplemental help. I know, Marisol, you were talking to Professor Lyles about the math department. Closely connected to the math department is the Math Express, and I think that is part of what you were kind of getting at with how amazing they are, because the folks in that area are stinking amazing, and I wish I had had them when I was going through developmental math, because I went through developmental math, but it was with another college. They are awesome. If you want to put in the work and do the work in the classes, do the homework, listen to the lectures. If you're going to class, listen to whatever materials, if it's online, that they provide to you, and work everything consistently and not put it off to the last minute, they are going to help you be successful. If you put in the time and the effort and that persistence to it, you might need some extra help depending on your level. They're going to provide that to you. They are going to meet you where you are. So they are amazing. I can't say enough about that department because I just see the work they do semester in and semester out with getting students through those classes. And Marisol's right, that's the class that a lot of students have that little moment of, oh, I don't want to do math. it happens. You may not be that student, you may love math, that's great, but we all have that one subject area, and oftentimes it can be math. So that is what TSI is, and that's based on, you know, your track and what you're doing. And math is a very specific, this is another thing advising is for. It's so specific to what your pathway is, to what plan you're doing. So based on if you're 4-year or specific degree plans or whatever, we're going to try to match the plan that you have and pick the right math class, so that way you're not taking, like, you get to your 4-year and they say, oh, well, that's great, you took that at your community college, but we need another math. We don't want that to happen. So that's what we're there for, to help with that. Any other questions? I don't know, I haven't been in the chat.
No, I think we're ready to move on. Thank you so much for jumping in. I know that was kind of crazy today for you, but I appreciate the extra effort as usual.
I'm here.
Thank you so much.
I'm here.
Yay!
And if you need to throw any of my contact information up, y'all have that. I'll stay on and monitor chat for a little minute and see if any other questions. Thank y'all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support of students as usual. And I saw that our next presenter is somewhere around there. It is time for our Chief of Campus Police. Yes, we have our own campus police. And Chief, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, so here we have Chief Joseph Baragan. He is about to tell you all about safety and security in our campus, and we are so thankful to have him here.
So welcome everybody and welcome to CTC, and we're happy to have you all here on campus or right now on the web. So my name is Joe Baragan. So Maricela, did you get the PowerPoint? I
It's not.
sent you a
Oh, you did? It's not the same one?
No, I changed it.
Oh, you changed it. Okay, I
Yeah.
can get that.
If not, I can share my video.
You can. Oh, you're sharing?
Well, I can. So hang on a second.
What? Okay. If not, I can look. I'll look up too. But yes. So a lot of people, I'm just going to say that while we're getting this up, a lot of individuals are not aware that we actually have our own police, that it's actual police, not just security. So, oh, Chief, you got your stuff up. Okay. Take it away.
Okay, so basically what I'm going to cover in the new student orientation is who we are, right? As far as a police department, actually the services that we provide. I'm going to talk a little bit about the query, your rights and responsibility, the emergency alert, and then the campus carry. And then of course, we'll talk a little bit about some of the programs that we offer, and the most important, it has to do with the campus safety, the void, deny, defend. Hang on a second, I'm going to turn off the radio.
We'll dance if we can hear the music.
Oh, also now my slide's not working. Hang on a second.
Did it work? Nope. Yep, maybe.
Hang on a second.
If not, I think I might be able to do it.
I apologize to everybody. So
Can you stop sharing, sir?
yes, I did stop sharing.
Okay. So let me see if I think this is it.
Yes.
You see it?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so as we go on to the next slide, who we are. So a lot of people will laugh, and we get a lot of criticism saying that we're not real cops and everything. We are real police officers, so please respect our officers, and I can't stress that enough. So also, if you're interested in becoming a police officer, going to CTC, we do offer the police academy. I'm always recruiting for the police department. And just so, a quick story, we had a gentleman that attended the new student orientation from the last summer session. And guess what? He enrolled in the police academy. And we, not only that, but we were able to find him the funding to pay for him to attend the academy. So we're excited about that. As we go to the next slide, we'll talk about that, is that all the officers that are here actually are police officers that have to go to the police academy. They're certified by the state of Texas. So in other words, we go to the same academy as someone from the Killeen Police Department, Coppers Cove Police Department. And then what makes us unique is that we actually have jurisdiction in 2 counties, Coryell County and Bell County. So the type of services that we provide, of course, anyone that calls us, there is a phone number there that I want you all to write down in your phones, because that is a 24/7 number. If you ever want to reach someone for anything that you want here occurring at CTC, whether you need help with jump starting your vehicle, unlocking your vehicle, if you need escorts to your classroom because you have some fatal boyfriend or ex-girlfriend that just doesn't want to leave you alone, we'll do that. We have lost and found here, and we also provide first aid. I do want to highlight a little bit about the parking permits. So you need to get a permit to actually park on campus. The permits are free. So you need your vehicle registration. Um, so the problem right now is that we're not able to give CTC IDs. There's something wrong with our machine and no one has actually talked about it, but if you can, to avoid any delays until the machine gets fixed, if you can just print out your schedule, it will help us. We will go ahead and do it without your CTC ID. So you might, other areas, I don't know what they're going to do, but you do need a CTC ID, but right now the machine is broken and they're working diligently to fix it. So for us, just bring your vehicle registration, a current class schedule, and we'll take care of you. Uh, we're going to talk about the Clery, the next slide. Just as the Clery, how we keep tabs of everything that's happening. We collect, classify all crime reports. You can actually go and see our annual report that we publish every year. This is requirement for every university and any college in the United States that we have to publish this. One of the things that here in Texas, they have that Texas Safety U app. You can actually download it and look at all the crime that or no crime that occurs throughout the Texas universities or colleges. So it's available if you're thinking of transferring to a four-year university. You can actually see the types of crime. You can also look at ours and see what's in there. The next slide are your rights and responsibility. So that is important, your rights and responsibility, um, as far as knowing things. One of the most important things that you have to know is the student code of conduct. Ms. Santiago, we can go to the next slide.
Yes, I'm reading here. It looks like the ID card, there might be a way of them getting it.
Okay.
It's there might be a change in the system coming soon, but for now it looks like they have something. Can you clarify?
Yeah, so if it's your first ID card, they can create those right now. If it's your second one, you'll have to email the admissions office for an appointment to get that at a later date because they just had some problems with the system they're using and the machines that they have. But if you're a new student, they can create those right now.
Okay, well, good.
First one. I think that's rather new because I've been keeping tabs on that, and that's the first time I've heard that.
Okay, well, great.
Breaking news.
Yes, because it wasn't happening before. So again, whatever we can do to make the process you to go through, we don't want no delays, and I want to do everything we can to make sure you get your permits. Know your rights and responsibility. The student code of conduct. There's a handbook. Make sure you know what your rights are. Know your policies. We have zero tolerance policies when it comes to dating violence, drug and alcohol abuse, smoking. We are a smoke-free campus, by the way. So that includes vaping. Don't be vaping. You could do it in your car. Stay in your car and smoke there. Anything that has to do with violations of the law, we will work with student success and persistence as far as any violations of the student code of conduct. That includes dorm residents. I saw that Ms. Ryan is online, so welcome, Aubrey, as the new dorm manager. The next slide we have is just the Eagle alerts. If you haven't registered your phone or any of your whoever significant others, just please register. The alerts are sent for not only an active shooter, but anything has to do with, let's say, the weather closure, power outages, police emergencies. And the way you register is if you go to the next slide, it'll talk about going to Omni Alert, and we'll keep that. So basically, the way you log into the Omni Alert, you on that link, you enter your name, and then your CTC ID number. And of course, your password is going to be in the format like you have for Blackboard, your month, your double-digit month, double-digit date, and your year, the 4 digits. So, and again, you can have multiple emails and phone numbers and to know for the emergencies alerts. And briefly, we'll talk about the campus carry. So I know that the law passed where it's in the state of Texas, we have open carry now anywhere unless it's posted. Well, on campus, you have to have a permit. You have to have a license to carry. If you don't have the license and if you have it, uh, you don't have it, you're violating the law. And it has to be concealed. One of the things that we have to make sure is that it is a concealed handgun. We recently arrested someone because they open carry on campus, and that is a third-degree felony. So again, um, uh, don't. It's concealed carry, and you have to have a license to carry the permit. Some of the gun-free zones that we do have that are permanent are the early colleges. We have 2 buildings here on CTC, and you'll see them posted that we'll have signs, the child care facilities, mental health care service locations, and then any areas that have any sports. The Morton Hall residents, with some exceptions. So other gun-free zones are anywhere where, as we go to the next slide, chemicals are stored, CTC rented or leased vehicles while transporting minors, and anywhere else like critical infrastructure, like our power plant, things like that. So again, visit the website to get all the information you need concerning this. So this is one of the things that I changed in the presentation is that we do have crime preventions because of what's happened in Uvalde. We have the civilian response to active shooter events. This is a course that we offer to students, staff, and faculty. I encourage you to tell your professor that you like to, for all of us to take this course, and we'll go and present it to you, and we can work with that. We offer it also to employees and things like that. The campus escorts, again, it's important that if, for your protection, if there's something that you're worried about, please let us know, and we'll make sure that we provide escorts from your vehicle to the class and then back to your vehicle to make sure. And anyone that is not allowed on campus, we'll make sure that they're informed that they're not to be here on campus. And then the vehicle assistance, like I said, the jump starting your vehicle, helping you put air in your tires, or even if you lock your keys in there, we'll help you with that. One of the things that the governor had also, because of the Uvalde shooting, is that he wanted everything to be reported through iWatch. And again, you can report it to us. I prefer that you report it to us, but there is a NightWatch Texas School Safety website. If you go to our webpage, you'll see the link that it's there. But the most important, if you see something, say something, please. No matter how small you might think it is, if it's someone's posting something on social media, let us intervene, and when I say let us, it doesn't necessarily have to be police intervention. We have what we call the threat assessment team that will go and assess the situation. So again, you can report things anonymously, but again, the most important part is that if you do see something, say something, whether it's through social media that someone says, hey, I'm going to go shoot up the campus. We take those threats seriously, and we want to do everything to keep our campus safe as far as that. So again, the last slide has to do with what we emphasize in the craze is the avoid, deny, defend. So those are the things like, of course, if you hear gunshots, you avoid that area. We'll send out an alert and things. Deny. All our classrooms are able to be locked. So if your teacher keeps the classroom door open, and you don't feel comfortable, tell them that you like to lock the classroom, because there is a way. All the classrooms are capable of being locked. So it's up to you. This is something that you can talk with your professor. I encourage all the classrooms to be locked during the classroom sessions. And we have a way of going into the classrooms if there's ever an emergency. So you as a student have that right, and I would definitely have that conversation with your professor to lock the doors. That's one way to deny someone that's trying to harm you. And then the last one is, of course, defending. You may have to defend yourself. So again, more intensive course is by taking the CRAES, the Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. And that concludes my presentation. Welcome all, and God bless you. If you ever want to come chit chat with me, my office is open. Yeah, you can yell at me, whatever, curse at me, whatever. I'm thick-skinned. That's why I'm bald. Okay, so but come up and
Yeah.
talk to me, and God bless you all. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Chief. I know I really, as usual, appreciate you coming out and talking to our students and letting them know what's going on. Now you guys get to talk to me a little bit, just a little bit, because I have to tell you. So I have like student life and activities, which is really, really fun. But I also have a slightly darker side to my job. I'm actually also the main conduct officer for CTC, which means that if somebody does something not quite right, we might have to have a conversation and try to figure out what's going on and see if there's a way that we can help it, resolve it, and decide if there's going to be any consequences or not. That's always a possibility, but we want to avoid all those things, right, Chief? We always want to avoid issues, and that's why we're going to have this little talk today, because we want to avoid, just like Chief said. And we're going to talk about student rights, oh, no, stop sharing. What are you sharing? What are you sharing? I don't know what's going on. Okay, is that better? Yes. We're going to talk about students' rights, responsibilities, and resources really, really quick. There's a lot of things that students are not aware of, and we always want to make sure that you know what to expect and are knowledgeable. Some of the expectations that we have. I know, I see somebody, William, telling everyone about my dark side. Well, no, I'm telling you all about it. Expectations for students are really important that you follow through with them. It's important that you learn how to advocate for yourself. At this level, you have to advocate for yourself. It's not like in high school or anything like that where a parent or somebody else might be able to advocate for you. We really, really need for you to talk to us, being faculty or staff, and let us know what's going on. You have to behave like an adult. There's something called FERPA, which means that you own all your academic and conduct records, regardless of your age. Sometimes they may, for example, for a job, you might need to request. The job thing will ask, oh, we need to know what your grades were and if you had any conduct issues at the college. And we get those very often. And we will only give that information out if we have a permission in writing from a student. And so that's something to keep in mind. Syllabus, we talked about it, but it's that important. We have to just mention it again. You need to read and follow it in all of your classes. Come to class, definitely. Have integrity. That is super important. Honesty and responsibility in your work. I guess I should have had the faculty come and talk about cheating and what that can do to affect your class, but we really want to make sure that your classes and your grades are, have integrity. Civility is a very big thing that people don't think about. You're entitled to your opinion and to your thoughts. However, we want to make sure that you are not disrupting the class or disrespecting others. It's about how you act and react to the situation. And doing that in a responsible manner can go a long way. And if you ever feel like you are having a hard time figuring out how to act and react in a situation, you're welcome to contact me. You can email me, call me, or come see me, and we can try to work through it. It's not always bad. I actually prefer to resolve an issue before a problem before it's an issue. So if you find that there's something going on and you don't know how to deal with it, you're having a situation with a faculty member or somebody from the staff, come talk to me and we can look for a positive resolution. Let's be that person. I'd rather deal with it before it becomes a problem, and then we have to have a conversation, and it's not going to be as fun as if we're looking for solutions. College guidelines, procedures, and student code of conduct. You are responsible for being aware of all of that. What happens if you fail a class or if you can't attend a class? And we talked a little bit about that already. Title IX, which includes sexual misconduct and applies to all students, and violations will not be tolerated. And we're going to have somebody, our Title IX coordinator, talk to you a little bit about that later. Just a brief overlook of it. Resources, you need to know what the resources are from the very beginning. The thing about it is that you can start going to tutoring that first week. Actually, we want you to go to tutoring that first week of class. We want you to know what's out there. Go to the library and say, hey, I need help writing my paper. They'll help you. Come to Student Life and say, I don't know how to deal with the situation. Hey, go to Chief. He told you he's willing to talk to you. Go to talk to him and say, hey, I don't know how to deal with this. It doesn't matter who. Come talk to somebody and say, I need help. And if they don't know, they should be able to help you figure out who to talk to. I'm making myself available for that. And I'm just going to ask that somebody, actually, I'll put my own email in the chat here. You're welcome. Oh, I messed up the EDU part, but you guys get it. You are welcome to come talk to me about all of that. Student code of conduct is really, really important. We do have the student handbook. It gets re-looked at least once a year. And it's got all the code of conduct, what is expected of every student, what are the rules and regulations. And you should really, really be familiar with that. Get yourself familiar so that you can not be surprised. Or if you're having a situation, go look at it. Like, it's really good for you to just go ahead and look at it and see what's out there. You might be surprised that there is an answer to a question that you may have. Same thing with the college catalogs. We don't print them anymore. They're all online. But I remember when I was in the university, that was life. If you want to see what plan you're in, if you want to see what the rules are when it comes to class withdrawals, what the class descriptions are, all of that is in there. It's a lot of great information that you can really use for the future. And if you have a complaint or a grievance, you are welcome to do that. We will go ahead and help you with that. We have a form for that in the website. Let us know. It's an online form. We'll receive it and we'll forward it to the supervisor of the area that you have a concern about and do our very best to make sure that you get a response and that it gets resolved. And then if there is a sexual misconduct, we also have a form for that, and you can report information there. If you don't want to necessarily come talk to us, that is another option, but I'm going to let our Title IX coordinator talk a little bit more about that. Resources that we talked about, definitely student success and persistence. That includes academic studio, career services, disability support, student life, yeah, and then residence hall. We actually have a residence hall. If you are here in Killeen and you're interested in actually living on campus, you can do that as long as you're a full-time student and you maintain that status and you're willing to pay. Faculty and academic department can also be really helpful. It's incredible the knowledge that a faculty member can give you if you allow them. Talk to them not just about the really, what's actually going on right now in your class and how to be successful in the class, but sometimes, I really want to know what to do in the future. How is this going to help me in my future? All of that. Campus police, we already talked about them. Super important. And actually, and even if you're not in Texas, I will say, and if you have a concern about safety, I'm going to throw that out there. I know Chief mentioned the threat assessment teams. I know in the past, even if it wasn't necessarily in Killeen, if there's a concern that you have, our campus police has reached out to other police departments and other resources outside of our local area to get help. So don't think that just because, oh, I'm an online student in another state, that doesn't mean that they can't be a resource for you. Student and employee assistant program. We all need help. I know I do. There's only one way to become animated this late at night, and that means caffeine. And just sometimes not, just being a little quirky. And little quirky means that You know, you're just different. That can sometimes cause stress. Becoming a college student and having a life can be very, very stressful. And sometimes we just need a little bit of help. In the Student Employee Assistance Program, we have free counseling for all faculty, staff, and students. You're welcome to contact them and just talk and just try to figure out how to deal with the situation. Sometimes, like I said, it's just I'm starting college and everything's overwhelming and I just need someone to talk to. During the pandemic, we had a lot of people that were, I am alone and I'm trying to figure out life and I need some help. That is okay. You are welcome to contact them and get some help for free. The library is, a lot of people think books, but more and more our library is having less physical books and more databases and more resources of different kinds. Librarians just know how to get information. And I recommend that everybody, whether you're in Killeen or not, contact a librarian. They are available online and they can help figure out how to cite sources for your classes, how to find information for that research report, how to actually figure out, help you, you know, correct your report that you have to turn in and make sure it's grammatically correct, kind of. You know, they can help you do all of that and they turn it around pretty quickly. Tutoring, we have in-person and virtual tutoring available for all of our students. Also, if you're interested in taking some of these tests, like the HESI, the TSI that was mentioned before, and you need a little bit of help in practicing and making sure that when you take it, you do better than you did before, for example, you can go to our academic studio and ask for help in getting tutoring for those tests. You've met pretty much student services for the most part today, a lot of them. You need help, go talk to them. And then we have a gym because sometimes you just need to de-stress. And if nothing else, you can go in there, you can exercise, do some fun things, run around, and maybe meet some other people and just get some steam out. There's a whole listing of resources in that website and that's available. You can always take pictures. There is also a phone and an email that you can contact if you have more information that you want to know about. Now I'm going to ask Dr. Christy Schenk from Disability Support Services just talk to you briefly about Disability Support Services.
Thank you, Mariceli. I'm Dr. Christy Schenk, Director of Disability Support Services, and my area provides accommodations for classroom courses if you have a disability under the Americans Disability Act. Your disability can be physical, mental, learning, a wide variety of disabilities can qualify. A major life activity does have to be substantially limited. You can see on the slide there's a list of different major life activities. If you do have a disability, you do need to self-identify to us as well as provide medical documentation. We do have a website where we have a documentation criteria checklist, and it will outline specifically the type of documentation that you need. I will also put in our contact information for myself and my coordinators, and you are welcome to contact any of us at any time. If there's any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Schenk. A lot of individuals, here's the contact information that she mentioned for her specifically, and then there is my email as well as my contact information. Okay, so now we're almost down to the stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to have a quick talk about Title IX, and then we're going to open it up for any questions that maybe are still pending out there. So we're almost there, guys, almost there. And so I would like to now introduce our Director of Risk Management and who is also our Title IX Coordinator, Mr. Larry Murphy. Welcome aboard, Mr. Murphy. I can't hear you though.
Hey, good afternoon. So my name is Larry Murphy. I'm the Director for Risk Management and the Title IX Coordinator for Central Texas College. So just real quick, Title IX pertains to, my main focus for Title IX is to make sure everyone has a learning environment that is free from the threat of sexual violence, sexual assault, harassment, domestic violence, sexual assaults, anything. So at any time, if you feel or you come to the point where you think someone is following you, someone made an inappropriate comment or whatever the case may be, contact my office and let us know, or you can fill out the form that's going to be online, which I'm about to show you. So here, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here we're on the main page of the CTC website. So at the bottom, you'll see down here where it says Title IX. Click on Title IX, and sometimes it'll go straight to the page, and other times it'll refocus back. So this time it worked. So on Title IX, it'll come in, it'll tell you pretty much what we are, and we were founded based on the Federal Education Amendments in 1972. Title IX has been updated several times since then, and we're currently on the 2020 edition. So here you'll see my information as well as the alternate coordinator, which is Dean Jackie Hare, who's the Dean of Fort Hood and Continental campuses. Our contact information is there at any time that you just have a question or you need to talk or whatever the case may be, you want to learn more about what Title IX entails. So at any time, if you've been assaulted, someone is stalking you, someone is taking pictures of you without your authorization, you can come online and click here where it says Title IX, where are we at? Report sexual misconduct. Click on that, and it will bring you to the form. You fill out that form, put in all pertinent information. You can mark whether you want to be identified or if you want to submit it anonymous. That form out, and then it will route through the system, and it will go, I think, to Maricelli. Is how it's, or is it straight to me?
It's to you, Larry.
Okay. All right. So it changed. All right. So it'll come straight to me. Now, everything that we report or you report is confidential. So no one else will know about it unless they have a need to know. And the reason it comes straight to me is because you have the option of filing a police report. It's not mandatory that you have to, but you have the right as a complainant to file a police report with the campus police. So then I provide you with those resources and information, talk to you about what happens, and then determine whether what you reported fits under Title IX. There's also where you see on the website where it says Title IX training for students. This here is training that's required for all students to go through, and it pretty much gives you a brief overview of what the program is, how it works, and what to expect. Once you finish that training, most students for the last 6 months, they will send me an email saying that they have completed that training. But it is good information that's out there for you guys so you get a better understanding of how the program works, what your rights are, and what to expect. As just like Chief provides escorts to class, if someone feels threatened by someone, I will personally escort them to class or walk through the halls just to make sure nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And that's pretty much my brief overview of Title IX. Any questions?
I haven't seen any come in yet, but bottom line, guys, we want you to be safe and that you feel safe on our campus, in our school environment. I think that everything that we talk between what Chief mentioned all the way to now, that's what really boils down to. We want you to be safe. We want you to be in a great environment. We want you to be happy about being here and with the right mindset so that you want to, have a great opportunity of having and completing your education here.
Yes.
So that's really, honestly, it's the bottom line, but we have to touch up on some of these things just to make sure that you understand some of the basics. And this is all, a lot of these things, and pretty much actually all of this is pretty much, it don't matter where you are in the US, If you have a question or a concern, you're welcome to contact us. Like I mentioned before, safety and security is not just for this campus. It's really about making sure that you are safe and secure regardless of where you're located.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Now, that is kind of the main planned portion that we had. I want to say thank you so much for being so patient, and it looks like we have some great questions. Chief, before you leave, I have a question here. Does the campus police have an active K-9 unit that could do some sort of small volunteer work to look good on my resume? I'm interested in the career for my future. That's from Matthias Lease. So I don't know. Might want to talk to them. Maybe get.
Yes, so we do not have a K-9 on campus, so.
But maybe you can go talk to them and learn a little bit more about.
Yeah, I have a lot of information. My former career, I actually had a drug interdiction unit consisting of 5 canines, so we did a lot. So
See?
and I can point you in the right direction. So, of course.
Yes. So this is why you need to, we can still be great resources for you guys no matter what's going on. For whatever you need, let me see. Is there a dress code for certain areas of the campus gym pools? Yes, the gym
there is.
does have a dress code in there.
Yes, we
Bruce, do you want
require
to talk a
full
little bit about that?
t-shirt and full shorts, no spaghetti strings or sports bras or half shirts, guys or girls. Instead of tank tops, we require a full t-shirt. If you're going to swim, you need a one-piece bathing suit, and guys need to wear full-length shorts when swimming, no Speedos. And other than that, keep your shoes on at all times, whether you're in the basketball court area or in the weight room. Athletic shoes must be worn at all times.
Yes, and around campus, it's not anything that is specific, but I will tell you, according to the student handbook, which you should be reading, right? It says that I have ultimate decision as to what it means to what is considered appropriate or not. And I am not the most super prude person, but there are certain things I don't want to see. Okay. So no shorts that, booty shorts, the whole Daisy Dukes things, please don't bring those to campus. If I can see your bits, that is not okay. There are just certain things that we don't need to be seeing. And so please try to your very best to wear appropriate clothes, something that is appropriate for a learning environment. Because, believe it or not, here's the other kicker to this, if you haven't figured this out, part of our mission says that you need to be employable. And employable does not just mean that you are pass your classes. There is something called soft skills, and that includes things like being able to answer the phone correctly, which anybody that works for me knows it's one of my pet peeves, and definitely being able to dress appropriately for the environment that you're in. This is an academic institution. You should be looking appropriate for an academic institution. Now, as a student, does that mean that you have to wear a suit and tie? No, of course not. I don't expect that. But it also means that you have to have something that is appropriate for and conducive to learning, depending on the situation. So keep that in mind. And I see Pearl raising her hand. Pearl?
You started it and you said employability. If you're getting your associate's degree, I need some staff in the financial aid office with an associate's degree. So come see me. Thank you.
Yes, we all need some staffing, so please look at our website for that.
Hey, Mariceli, can I just add one thing about the dress code?
Yes.
Many of you are going to find yourself in an SVL class, and that is a class that you take online, but it's at a very specified time. You log in with your camera, and the instructor does live teaching. We have received complaints about the way students dress when they're in an SVL class. Please treat your SVL class like you would an in-person class. Dress appropriately. All of your peers, all of your classmates are participating. They can see you. And so we ask that, you dress appropriately for class, not that you are just falling out of bed and, I don't necessarily mean you have to brush your hair or anything, but please look presentable or appropriate in your SVL classes as well.
Yes. So thank you. Yes, that I would say that that is something that I love that question because it's really something that most people do not think about or address. Or a lot of individuals like, oh, I'm going to look cute just because there's going to be all kinds of people that I haven't met and I'm really excited about it, and then they come to school looking inappropriate, and then we have to have a conversation and it's not always the best. So please, 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 let's think about being professional as a student, a professional student. Let's be a professional student, look appropriate.
There's a question about TSI again, Mariceli. Blake was asking, he wanted some more information about TSI. He said he's called and sent several emails, but he hasn't received that much information about it. So I don't know, Blake, specifically what you're looking for, but I can type in the website with TSI that might provide you some information that you might need. So you'll give
Can
me a
you
second,
get
I'll do that.
can you also type in Ava's email?
I
She will
sure
definitely
can.
answer that.
Yeah.
For Blake, and anybody that might have some like burning TSI questions
We'll
that
do
have
that.
not been
Like
answered.
if you have a specific TSI question, like Bruce said, if you'll type it into the chat, that may help us answer your specific question.
Yes. There was something else I wasn't.
In the meantime, would you care, Mariceli, if I put Morgan on the spot, because I would
No.
love for her to share, because we have a program that supports continuing not CTE students, and she's got 3 programs with a lot of money and a lot of resources that have changed. And if you're a CTE student, you want to hear this from her. So Morgan, I'm putting you on the spot.
Hello, my name is Morgan. You've probably seen me in the chat. I've been answering them all night. So I run 3 assistance programs currently for career and technical education students. Those are the students who are in things like welding, nursing, aviation. Some of the business degrees count. Criminal justice sometimes count. There's a lot. Contact me if you want to know if your degree plan counts. So the programs I run are textbook and material lending, which means you can get your textbooks for free. Starting in the fall, you'll be able to keep them if you can say they are reference material. And I will also be able, starting to in September, purchase your materials like calculators and uniforms, or for the culinary, they need knives, things like that. One-time purchase if they are required for your class. You can only get them once and they have to be required. I will also lend out tablets for you to use for your ebook codes. You do have to have a required ebook code for your class, for a class required for your degree plan. For the other program, I have a childcare assistance. I am not the on-campus daycare, but I can provide you funds for daycare facilities off campus. It is $90 per week per child, and you have to be enrolled full-time or in clinicals. Then the third program is a new one, actually. It is transportation assistance. You have to be, so you can get a $50 gas card per month or a hop bus voucher. For that one, you do have to have an in-person class. You cannot be taking a online class and get it. The intent is you're coming to campus. For the other part of the transportation program, you can get mileage reimbursement for clinicals or internships required for your degree plan. For all of these programs, you are going to have to be in a minimum of 6 credit hours, or for the childcare, 12 credit hours. And then you will need to have a 2.0 GPA, since most of you are new students. That will be waived. You will also need to prove financial need. That can be done with a Pell Grant award letter, proof you receive WIC, TANF, or SNAP, which are the government assistance programs, or a copy of your 1040 from 2021, which is your tax return documentation. And then I can answer any questions about that, and I will also put my email in the chat so you can get information about that.
All right, Morgan, one question that came up, does welding qualify for anything? And I believe that qualifies for the transportation voucher, welding classes?
Welding qualifies for all of them.
Great, there you go. And then a student was asking about their culinary uniform. If a part of it is sold out before they can buy it, what should they do?
That is a question for your program instructor specifically. There might be places off campus where you can purchase them. I know for nursing, there's different off campus places you can purchase them. I do not know how it works for culinary.
But let me clarify, if you want to use Morgan's program though to get uniforms and things like that, that won't be available until until September. And we do have to go through the bookstore. We won't be able to use alternative locations.
That is correct. I will have to wait for them for the bookstore to have them. Sometimes it is faster, unfortunately, for you guys to purchase them, for me to purchase them once it gets down to crunch time.
And then someone wants to know if the aviation classes qualify, or the aviation program.
Yes, most of the time that does.
Yes.
Where would I find a professor's office hours before the classes begin? Great question. Usually that's in the syllabus. So you would actually find that as soon as you have access to your Blackboard, you can look at the syllabus. And usually the Blackboard access is like the Friday before classes begin. So it's still a little bit ahead of time. And if you're not, if you know the professor's email, you're also able to find their email and you can email them if you really, really want to know way ahead of time. Not all, let's see. Bruce, not all TSI's testing is done in the Killeen campus.
Where else would it be done?
Fort Hood, or they
Oh,
do
okay.
have a virtual option.
There you go, Blake. I'm sorry, I've lied to you.
Sorry, I just heard it today, so a little while ago. Yeah, there is also, you have to pay. There's a proctoring service that's available, and if you have questions, Ava requested that we email at academic.advising@ctcd.edu for any TSI questions. When actually, Takia Davis. Okay, when trying to add books to the CTC bookstore later, it does not allow me to add a student ID. I believe you have to put the entire code on the ID card. I'm not sure if I believe that's correct because they need like the entire information on your ID card. But you might, if not, then you have to contact them directly and they can tell you exactly what that it would be.
We got a question about when, how can I know about the materials that I need for the course if I don't have access to the syllabus until 3 days before the class starts? Remember, we'll go back and we have an instructional materials link that is available, and you can type in your class information, and the book and other materials will be listed on that, and we'll repost that. But it has been posted a couple times in the link, in the chat, but we'll go back and repost, and it's for instructional materials. And so you can access that site.
I am going to, while we're going through some of these questions, I'm also going to say that since you're all new students, we are going to have a lot of activities happening those first 2 weeks of classes. And we were really excited. The theme for this year is anime. And so if you are interested in anime, we really want you to participate. And even if you're not, find out more about it. Let's learn about it a little bit more. But we are going to be doing a lot of events. Kind of the culmination of everything is going to be our welcome bash. That's going to be September 1st in the Anderson Campus Center. And you're going to be able to also meet a lot of the departments there. But during those few weeks, those first 2 weeks, we're going to have scavenger hunts. We're going to have contests. You're going to be able to get assistance in making sure you get to your classes correctly. And there's going to be a lot more of, we're going to have a talent show. What else am I saying?
We're also going to be playing various animes based on genre upstairs and downstairs in building 220 the first 2 weeks of class.
Yes. So we're just going to be having a lot of things. There's a lot of versions of social media that CTC has. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, we have Twitter, and then we have Discord. There's a lot of information that you can get through all of these. So please pick your favorite version and come check us out. You'll be able to get a lot of information just by following us on social media and knowing what these events are going to be and what are the things that you can look forward to. And it's not just local. We do have, like, for example, the scavenger hunt. We're going to have a local version at the main central campus, but we're also going to have an online version of it. So we're not leaving out those of you that are not local to the area. We will have some events for you guys as well. So please be kind of on the lookout for all of that in our social media and also in our webpage. Usually they change out at the beginning the kind of the highlights of what's going to be happening in terms of events or important dates. So those are ways that you can get a lot of information in a very short period of time. And we really want you to participate in clubs, organizations, get to meet a lot of these individuals on campus, and be able to, get more information. Caesar, your headphones cut out. Oh, we're having anime themed for 2 weeks of classes to welcome all the new students. So please come and participate in all of the events, whether in person or online. Everybody's been so you guys have such great questions and things. I am, because I'm going to be a little bit like Pearl. I'm going to share real quickly. Oh yeah, trivia. We're going to have trivia also going on, anime trivia. Why is this not, don't you? Here's our, for those of you that actually know Discord or interested in Discord, you can just take a quick scan and join us. We've actually been streaming our orientation through Discord as well, and we're trying to stream through Discord and Twitch, but right now we're doing more on Discord at this moment. So and you can get more information about Twitch in a little bit, but just take a quick peek, scan it and get more information that way. Let's see, anime is going to do a speed drawing contest. Yes. We're really just excited. We really want all the students to come back and be excited about it. And like I said, even if anime is not your thing because you don't even know a lot about it, come and find out a little bit more. Oh, we're also going to have pictures in the lounge on specific days where you can come and just get your picture taken. Kind of that first week of class, first 2 weeks of class on specific days, and I can't remember what they are now. But yeah, come on out here, get your picture taken, and just show the world, yes, this is my first week of class. I'm excited about he being here, all of that. I will give everybody a little bit of advice for those of you that are going to be taking classes in our central campus. Please do not show up 5 minutes before class and think that you're going to be able to park right next to your classroom. Allot yourself plenty of time, at least half an hour, to make sure that you find a parking spot that's going to work for you and that you're going to be able to walk to your class. Also look at the campus map if you're taking classes in person and see how far your classes are. We've had people that take classes in the academic building, and then they also have to take their following class immediately after in our Mayborn Science Theater building. And that is a good 10-minute walk. So make sure, and that's a brisk pace. So make sure that you are aware where your classes are going to be located and how far. Yes, we can get you a copy of the campus map. We do have it online. So for our central campus, and we can go ahead and post that link to you guys so that you can look at it and just kind of pre-plan, have a game plan, what's your plan going to be? How am I going to get from one class? Are you going to be that person? I don't know. If you do have that distance to walk in between classes, are you going to try to get another parking spot, or would you rather walk first and then or walk after? How are you going to do that, moving from building to building, class to class? Those are things that you want to always pre-plan and think about. And if you need some assistance with that, you're welcome to contact my staff. Again, William is always looking in Discord to make sure, help answer questions, but you can also email us, or you are welcome to just come on by at some point and we will guide you through that process. Yes.
Mariceli, will you, I know it's not a super exciting one, but I would like us to mention the career clusters that we will be hosting those during the first couple of weeks. So we want all students to attend their cluster and meet their faculty and what their degree plan can do for them. So I'm going to let you share what that is.
Yeah, so we have what we call the career clusters, and it's basically, for example, we have a STEM cluster that includes everything that's science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I'm missing one.
Robotics.
Robotics, yeah.
Robotics. So, you're welcome to, if you're part of any of those class of that area that you're interested in, then you can go to that one. And this one presentation, it includes faculty from the departments. They're going to present a little bit about what they do, what the degree plans look like, and then you can actually talk to the faculty in those fields and ask them questions. If you're, for example, going to be interested in nursing, then there's a whole medical field one, but then you might also decide that you want to participate in the science one, the STEM one, because to be a nurse or be in the medical field, you have to take a lot of science classes. So you want to see what they both tell you and talk to the faculty from both. If you don't know what you want to be when you grow up and you're still really trying to figure out, you can go to all of them and you can actually get more information on all the degree programs that we have to offer and maybe kind of figure out, oh, well, you know what? I decided I do not want to do medical, but that, whole engineering thing and robotics sounded great. That's what I want to do. Or I want more information in that. So the fields are, we have construction,
business,
construction, and that includes construction, transportation, and aviation is one. We have business is another one. STEM, medical field, and I'm missing
Fine arts.
Fine arts.
And then the service, public service. So that's
public service,
like
the teachers.
Yeah.
And if you're interested,
counselors, mental, that kind of thing.
Yes, so definitely want to check it out. Police, kinesiology, all of those. We're going to be sending out some information to you guys. So if you get a text and you're like, what the heck is this? Oh, well, that's what it's about. Come join us to that. And then we're going to start sending out some information soon as to when they're going to be. They're going to actually be during, wait, I'm looking at the wrong dates here.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
I just sent you the schedule for the clusters. Can you pull that up?
I've got it up right now. If you'd like me to read it, I'd be glad to.
Please, Bruce, help me out.
Our STEM session will be August 29th from 3 to 4 p.m. Then our construction and trades transportation will be August 30th from 3 to 4 p.m. Then we have our healthcare session, which involves paramedicine, nursing, and so forth, and that will be August 31st, and that will be 1 to 2 p.m. And then the remainder are going to be on September 6th, starting with public service from 10 to 11 a.m. Business and business technology from 1 to 2 p.m. on the 6th. And the last one on September 6th will be our business technology, well, excuse me, I'm sorry, our arts and humanities cluster, and that'll be 3 to 4 p.m. Did I say business and business technology already?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. So the last one is arts and humanities, 3 to 4 p.m.
And so all of them are going to be virtual in this same kind of format that we're doing right now through a WebEx. So if you have questions, please feel free to contact us. We'll make sure to guide you. But if you're going to probably get some information via email, potentially a text. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead and join us. Like I said, you can join one or you can join them all. If you have a friend or somebody, at home or just somebody that they should be doing some investigation on careers and trying to figure themselves out, you know that person. You know that person because we all have one. Tell them to come and participate and get more information. I know if I've had high schoolers that are not ready to graduate necessarily, but they're trying to figure out what they want to do and participate and then use that to be able to whittle down what they might be interested in. We have information for you. So let's use it and share it with as many people as possible so we can help them out.
And I've also like to add, I saw several questions about culinary today. The culinary is included under the business and business technology career cluster. So for those who are in culinary program, you check out the business session on September 6th from 1 to 2 and get culinary answers.
You can see all of our degree plans. They are online. You can either go to the catalog and that's online, or you can actually go to each academic department and you can see the degree plans per department. It's up to you.
I think the question was their particular degree plan, and that they can access through Eagle Self-Service. You can get and what progress you've made on your degree plan, how you're categorized, and all of that. You can get through that. And also you can go sit down with an academic advisor, and we provided those numbers and how to do that. You can do that as well.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Any other burning questions? Because we pretty much have come to our 8 o'clock mark, which is what we had allotted for this. I just want to say thank you very much to all of our presenters for being here and actually getting the information out. Thank you for being this late. For those of you that normally are not on campus or not up working this late, thank you, thank you, thank you. For all of you students and Eagles that are excited, hopefully, to come now to school, I hope that you found this informative. If you still have other questions, you are definitely welcome to help us out. And we'll work together on getting answers for you, figuring it out. We want you to be excited and happy again to be here. We want you to be a happy Eagle that is soaring. Yes, I am that cheesy person. But come on, guys, we can get this. We can get this done. We do have online lectures through WebEx or Zoom, or Blackboard have its own broadcasting. All of the above. The answer is all of the above. TSI from another college and have the results transferred here? I believe the answer is yes. You can have that transferred here, or if you took it in the high school in Texas, and that usually is able to be seen here as well. So thank you, everybody. I hope you found this helpful. Please share the information. We will probably have this posted on YouTube probably by the end of the week, if not by tomorrow. And I want to again thank everybody who has spoken, who has supported us along the way. There's quite a few supporters in the background that you can't really see them, but they've been typing away in the chat and helping us out. Special shout out to our group that is actually watching from Discord. And thank you to all for coming out today. Thank you for everything. I am so excited to have you here. I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you around soon.
Woo!